You don't need to eliminate nerves. That's not even realistic. You can't eliminate nerves, but you can learn to work with them, to recognize the signals, offer your body support, and get back into alignment. And when your voice reflects that alignment, that's when jurors lean in. Welcome to the Foster Your Voice podcast with me, Christy Foster. After a 30-year career in music and theater, I never imagined I'd be coaching trial attorneys. But once I entered your world, I quickly realized how critical and underutilized voice is in the courtroom. The truth is, you don't win trials with brute strength. You win with your voice. I'll give you tools to unlock your voice so you can communicate not just with purpose, but on purpose. If you want quick action tips to help you stay calm and in control, keep jurors engaged, and inspire your listeners to action, all through the power of your voice, you're in the right place. I'm Christy Foster, and I'm here to help you foster your voice. Hello, Foster fam. I'm excited for today's episode. We're just in particularly tense times, to say the least. So I wanted to give you a really easy and accessible way to reset your nervous system, recalibrate your chemistry so you can hopefully be more responsive instead of reactive. But before we get to it, I wanted to share something that has kind of been a theme in my coaching sessions this month. It's kind of funny how this happens when one client is working on something and it seems like it applies to everyone and presents itself in everyone's session. So maybe this has just been present on my mind too, because my niece just recently got their driver's license. So I've been remembering when I was learning to drive. Both my parents took me out driving, but it was mostly my mom because my dad was traveling a lot for work. As we'd be out practice driving in empty parking lots like you do, if I went over any of the lines, my mom would say, "Look at all the cars you're hitting." And of course, we'd laugh because there were no cars, but it was just to draw my attention to the boundary lines and create some spatial awareness in a moving vehicle. Now, one of the pearls of wisdom, she would say, is your goal is to give your passengers the smoothest, most comfortable ride. Remember, you know where you're going. You know when you're going to turn or swerve or hit a speed bump or a pothole, and you have something to hold on to. Your passengers don't, and they can't predict the direction you're going to take. So make it your mission to let them relax. Courtroom conversation should be the same. Prepare your audience by infusing meaning into words. By adding vocal emotion with our 5 building blocks of pitch, pace, melody, volume, and tone, you help them know when to invest some emotional currency and when they can restore. How you deliver your message helps them know how to brace for intense parts of the story, when they can relax and refuel, so to speak, and what to be on the lookout for. It's foreshadowing for them. You help them have a smooth and comfortable ride in the car, and they know that they can trust you as their driver. Okay? We've likely all been in cars with erratic drivers, the pedal pumpers, the quick action, offensive driving, going a little too fast, braking a little too late. If you're a parent who's teaching their teen to drive, you know what I'm talking about here. And you know how fervently you pray that miraculously you'd suddenly get a steering wheel and a brake pedal on the passenger side, right? So don't be that kind of communicator, jerky, jumping from topic to topic. No context statements, assuming everyone shares the same foundational knowledge and leaping to conclusions based on that. talking as if everyone knows all the conversations you've previously had. Be a good driver of conversation in the courtroom. Give them some heads up and some framework to be thinking in with context statements and segues. Help them relax when they can by keeping your voice and other nonverbals lifted and calm. Foreshadow when action in the story is ramping up by changing your vocal tone and pacing. Help them know when the ride is getting bumpy and full of potholes. Okay? The analogy is maybe starting to go too far now, but I think you get what I'm saying, right? It's worth it for everyone when you consider how you can provide the smoothest experience possible. So be a good driver for your juries. You know what I hate? Being misunderstood. It's actually one of my biggest fears, if I'm honest, right up there with birds. Yes, I'm afraid of birds. Leave me alone about it already. Being misunderstood is just the worst, though. Trying to communicate something and seeing that it's just not landing the way you intend. Too harsh of tone with your kid or spouse that ended up setting them off. A thinking face that got interpreted as annoyance or irritation and ended up shutting down the conversation and leaving you baffled. It's so frustrating in our personal lives, but in the courtroom, your mismatched communication profile could break your case and lose you a deserving verdict. So, I've created a free guide to get you thinking about the emotional profiles you create. It's a printable guide to help you 10x your communication impact by mastering 6 emotional profiles for clear and authentic connection. I break down the 6 core emotions: happy, sad, love, pride, anger, and fear by giving you face, body, and breathing cues. Plus, I show you exactly which point on a 1 to 10 scale you should be with your pitch, pace, melody, volume, and tone in order to authentically capture the center of that core emotion. The link to get your free guide is in the show notes or by simply going to my website, fostervoicestudio.com. Don't wait to clear up your part of miscommunication and misunderstandings. Get your free download today. Today we're talking about something that affects every single one of us, no matter how seasoned or confident we may be. And it's nerves. Not just feeling nerves, but what does your body go through when you're nervous? Why do your hands start to shake? Why does your mouth get dry? Why does your voice speed up and get tight? And most importantly, what can you do about it? This isn't about pretending you're calm. It's about really helping your body actually believe you are. Now, let's start with the truth. One, I think we need to normalize a lot more in high stakes professions like trial law. Being nervous is not a character flaw. It's a biological response. Your brain isn't trying to betray you when you feel those symptoms come on. It's doing what it's designed to do: protect you. When you step into unfamiliar or high pressure situations, like addressing a jury, delivering a rebuttal, even just standing to begin your opening, it's common for the brain to misinterpret the situation as a threat. Why? Because the brain doesn't always distinguish between true danger and just new situations. So what happens? Here comes the norepinephrine, revving up your alert system. Then adrenaline kicks in, prepping you to fight or flight by sending blood to your muscles and boosting your energy levels. Sounds great if you're being chased by a bear, but a little inconvenient when you're standing up in front of a jury. And then there's cortisol, that stress hormone that contributes to feelings of tension, restlessness, and then buzzing, panicked sense that you're going to forget your words any second. So, if you've ever found yourself thinking, why am I sweating? Why can't I stop talking so fast? Why do my hands feel weird? That's not weakness. That's a very normal human brain doing its job. And that means it's not just you. This happens to everyone. Even the people who look completely calm and composed on the outside, they are still managing the same physiological symptoms on the inside. But here's where it gets tricky. In the courtroom, you're supposed to look like the one in control, the one the jury can trust. You've got to lead with calm authority and grounded clarity, even when your body is doing the opposite, right? And the tension you hold in your shoulders, your tight jaw, your rushed speech, jurors feel that. They don't just see it, they feel it, which can inadvertently communicate the opposite of what you intend. Instead of projecting confidence, it may read as uncertainty or stress. And jurors, being very human beings that they are wired to tune into that. So let's talk about what to do with those nerves instead of trying to stuff them down or power on through. What you need in those moments is a quick and effective way to downshift. This is where your breath becomes a powerful tool, not just for calming your mind, but for rebalancing your entire nervous system. Simple, intentional breathing tells your brain you're not in danger, you're safe, you've got this. And your brain listens. Really. When you shift your brain, you start to shift your chemistry too. Endorphins get released, which bring a feeling of relaxation. Serotonin starts to circulate, which helps improve mood and reduce anxiety. And most importantly, once your body starts to believe you're calm, your voice follows. You become grounded, clear, steady, not because you're faking it, but because you've led your body back to safety. Now, several years ago, I was really pleased to go through a breath certification course with Yoga Body taught by Lucas Rockwood. Because even though, as a professional singer, I'm a good deep breather, I knew the mechanics of belly breathing, but I didn't know the science of breathing. And it was a great course and certification program that suddenly put everything I knew into perspective and gave me the why behind the how. When you practice slow, low breathing, like a 4-7-8 pattern, which I'll give you in just a minute, you're training your body to get comfortable with a little more carbon dioxide, that CO2 in your system. And that's a good thing. CO2 isn't just a waste gas. It actually helps your body use oxygen more efficiently. The more tolerant you are to CO2, the better your cells can pull the oxygen they need. This kind of breathing also tones the vagus nerve, which helps calm your heart rate, relax your muscles, and shift your body into rest and digest mode. It's like strength training for your nervous system, building resilience, building calm, and better focus with every breath. Okay, so let's get you set up for being able to do the 4-7-8 exercise. You're going to inhale through your nose for 4 counts. Hold your breath for 7 counts. And then exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 counts. Let me demonstrate. In through your nose. Hold. Exhale slowly. Then inhale again. And so on. That's the 4-7-8 exercise. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 7 counts, and then exhale slowly through the mouth for 8 counts. Now, if you're like me, you're like, why 7? That's weird. Well, 4-7-8 has a specific rhythm that trains a shift from active to calm. Short inhale of 4 counts to stimulate, and then a slightly longer hold of 7 to pause and absorb. Long enough to pause and reset the nervous system, but not long enough to cause breath holding stress, especially for beginners. And then exhale 8 to trigger the relaxation. If the hold matches or exceeds the exhale, it can create a little brain panic and raises the risk of lightheadedness or discomfort. No one needs that, especially when your goal is to relax, right? So the exhale phase is what really activates the parasympathetic nervous system. That's your rest and digest, which is the opposite of your fight or flight. And that's why it's designed to be the longest part. 4-7-8. Do it 2 or 3 times in a row. That's it. That's the whole thing. In addition to all the sciencey stuff that's happening, doing a mindful, disciplined practice like this is also just giving your brain a minute to reassess the situation, to realize, hey, this isn't a bear. This is just a new moment, but you can handle new things. And just like with any skill you're trying to develop, don't wait until a huge moment to test this out for the first time. You have to work at it. Make it part of your daily routine. Practice while reading over your opening, while sitting in your car just waiting to go into your office. Try it before you walk into a meeting. The more familiar it becomes and the more you condition your nervous system, the more easily your body can access it when you actually need it. So remember, you don't need to eliminate nerves. That's not even realistic. You can't eliminate nerves, but you can learn to work with them, to recognize the signals, offer your body support, and get back into alignment. And when your voice reflects that alignment, that's when jurors lean in. Because that's when you're not just delivering information, you're embodying it. So much more powerful. So, the next time you're standing outside the courtroom door or waiting for the judge to invite you to begin, or even just prepping at home for a big trial, when your heart's racing before you speak, don't judge it. Just breathe. Shift the chemistry. Give your body what it needs. Let your voice come from that grounded place of presence. You can do it. Until next week, keep fostering your voice. Thanks for pulling up a seat with me today and for being part of the Foster fam. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. And while you're at it, go ahead and leave a review or a comment so I can give you a shout out on a future episode. During the week, you can find me on Instagram at Foster Voice Studio, where I'm dropping little nuggets of vocal technique and leadership wisdom. You can also join my mailing list by visiting fostervoicestudio.com or by clicking the link in the show notes. I'll send a weekly vocal tip every Tuesday directly to your inbox. Until then, keep fostering your voice.